Everybody thought my grandma was just a quiet old church lady, wore big hats, baked too much cornbread, always humming. But there were things about that house that didn't sit right. Things we all acted like were normal, like Grandpa. Since I was a baby, he lived in a cage, not a metaphor, a real cage. Steel bars, locked, in the living room corner like a side table nobody talked about. He never spoke, just rocked, slowly, back and forth on that thin cushion. Grandma would fix his dinner on a silver tray, real careful, and slide it through like she was feeding something half wild, and we just let it be. I asked her once why he was in there. She wiped her hands on her apron, smiled real soft, and said, "Because he stopped listening." Then she leaned in, lowered her voice, and because he tried to open the door behind the furnace. That shut me up real quick, because there was a door behind the furnace, old and iron, covered in soup. She said the heat down there messed with her bones, but the basement was always cold, always still. Sometimes late at night, I sneak down and get close. Every time I hear humming, low, like somebody rocking back and forth, singing to themselves in the dark. One time I got bold and asked what was behind it. She didn't look up from her crossword, just said, "Old things, best left alone." After Grandpa died, if you could even call it living, she started going down there more and more. I'd hear her moving around at night, floorboards creaking, the furnace firing up in the dead of July. Then came the jars, glass ones, full of ash, sometimes teeth, and those little cloth dolls tucked into corners, stitched with twine and hair. I figured grief does strange things to people, but there were rumors too. Folks said if you couldn't afford a funeral, you could bring the body to Miss Genevieve's house, and she'd handle it quickly. No paperwork, no service, just gone. I didn't believe it at first, but now I know it was true. Bodies came in, but nobody ever saw them go back out, and something told me some of those dolls weren't made for comfort. They were made from the dead. After she passed, I had to go clean out the house, and that door, it was open. Inside was a stone table, wax pulled on every corner, the walls scratched with names, dozens of them. Some I knew, missing folks, people who just vanished from town over the years. Then I saw the last name carved into the stone, mine, and that's when the furnace kicked on. Even though the power had been cut for 3 days, I should have run, but I didn't. I stood there, staring at the table, cold and sticky. Then I heard humming, her voice, soft, sweet, like a lullaby that forgot how to end. I turned slow, half expecting to see her behind me, but the room was empty. The humming didn't stop. I followed it upstairs, past the old cage, down the hall, to her bedroom. The closet door was open. Inside was a rocking chair, empty, still moving. And on the floor in front of it, a doll, with my necklace sewn around its neck, my initials in thread, my hair twisting into his scalp like it grew there. That's when I saw the mirror, cracked, but clear enough. She was in it, sitting in the chair, only she wasn't in the room, just in the reflection. She raised one long, crooked finger and whispered, "You weren't supposed to open that door."